Hey everybody, come on in. This is the Daily Bern. We're going to start in just a minute. I'll give you a little time to get in and share. I need time to share. So come on in and like and share. We got to be the media. It's our job to get this out as far as we can get it. They suppress and hold this show back as much as they possibly can. And when we get going, you'll see why. But get this out. Share it out. Invite friends. Host a watch party. Whatever you got to do. Share this out. Damn the man. I'll be damned if they keep y'all from your burn. Hi, Dolores. Let me see if we got anybody here on YouTube. We're up in both places. Okay, good. Everything's going good. I've got a special surprise I'm going to start the show for you guys, and we're going to do that in about 15 seconds. So come on in, like and share, get ready to go, and get ready to burn. It's the Daily Bern. This is the war room of the political revolution. All right. So now let's get started. Like I said, I have a surprise that I want to do. I want to show you guys. There's something I want to show you. And we're going to start with it and do something a little bit different. I'm going to play this video for you. And then we're going to talk about it. This is probably the most powerful video I've ever seen for Bernie Sanders. I wish I could take credit for it. I didn't make this video. Whoever did an amazing job.
Bernie is back, getting into the presidential race.
Democrats like somebody new, and that is not going to be Bernie Sanders this time.
It's really hard to imagine who the Bernie Sanders voter is at this point.
Bernie Sanders, fall back. Please get away from us.
Senator, great to see you. Thank you for doing this.
He has a kind of gruff, curmudgeon-y side that is, of course, well known. He doesn't actually smile that much.
It's almost like Bernie can't tell the difference between kids and adults.
All right, I think you're dumb. I think you're dumb if you don't sit down and learn how to read and write. No, you were not born stupid. Come here. The only way I think you're dumb, I think when you think you're dumb, because you're not.
He also, I think you're disheveled, you're unlikable, and you're pushy, and I don't think you should be leading anybody.
How old is too old?
I think the issue is, do you seem like you're in the contemporary world? He's a socialist from the 1950s yelling at people in the same screechy voice, without smiling, without any kind of personal connection. He looked like the angry man in the center of the stage saying, "Get off my lawn." And I don't think that's a good look for the Democratic Party.
I see him as sort of a not pro-woman candidate. You may have heard the term Bernie bro. The Bernie bro, right? Somebody who's a bit younger, whiter, I think, than the overall Democratic primary.
I'm with my magnificent vanilla brother named Bernie Sanders. That's brother Bernie Sanders we're talking about. That's brother Bernie Sanders we're talking about.
Socialism has been a manifest disaster.
Alec would still be here today if I had known that I could come to Canada.
Alex Smith died after trying to ration a vial of insulin when he couldn't afford more.
So his idea about, free health care, he has seen the manifest atrocities that have occurred under socialism.
$1,000 got me 6 months of insulin for my son. That's still less than what I pay a month in the United States.
Gloria Steinem has suggested that younger women are supporting Bernie Sanders so they can meet boys.
Hello, Bernie. We lost our condo, got foreclosed on because of my medical bills.
I don't understand young women who support him.
I trust that Bernie Sanders is going to fight for health care and to lower prescription costs.
Of all the presidential candidates, you're the one that I trust.
Thank you so much for what you're doing. You're just giving us a help. Thank you. And we got your back.
I think he comes off as mean. I think he's disparaging.
I don't want to overpromise.
Bernie Sanders makes my skin crawl, and I can't even identify for you what exactly it is.
Bernie Sanders has done nothing between 2016 and today.
Thank you for everything you've done these last few years. You've helped to reset our political discourse, and are demanding that we center our politics around justice and equity. I am hopeful because right now, there is a mass movement of people from all over this country, rising up.
Thank you all very much. It ain't Bernie, it is us.
If we come together, we will win.
People always say, "Oh, you're being too vocal."
Hey, Bernie, you don't have to yell.
I don't feel I'm being vocal enough. We are not being vocal enough. When is enough enough?
He sounds very, very shouty.
Louder.
Yeah, we gotta get louder. How many kids are gonna have to make this sacrifice and die? How can you sleep at night knowing that kids can't afford insulin? How is that possible?
It's not right.
That video has made me cry every time I've watched it. Every single time. I haven't made it through that video one time without tearing up. I don't know if you heard me blow my nose. That video is so powerful. I wish that I had made that video. I wish I could take credit for that. I did not. I don't know who did. I will try to find out and tag them. I thought it was an official campaign video when I first saw it. I mean, I was crying like a baby when I first saw that video, and I had to share it with you guys. And the reason I had to share it with you guys, and the reason why I think it's so powerful, is because it addresses all of the lies in the media. My favorite piece was the piece from The Daily Show. Now, The Daily Show used to be a show with integrity. The Daily Show, when Jon Stewart hosted The Daily Show was a good show. I watched the show all the time, and Jon Stewart was very insightful, very good at navigating the issues and making them funny. Even when he was making some fun of a sensitive topic, he had more tact than this new guy they have. And that clip of him trying to make it look like Bernie was calling that kid dumb, that makes me angry. Like, you have such a pull of emotions during that video. It's got you mad, and then it's showing you the truth at the same time. It was so powerful, and I had to share it with you guys here today. And that video goes to show you what I said, and I've said over and over again on this show, that all war is deception. And we are in a war. We are in a fight. What we're doing is a fight. You've just not been trained to recognize it as one, and you've never been taught how to do it. Till now. We have a senator, a politician, that has spent his whole life fighting for the same things, 40-year history of fighting for the people, that has organized and put together a movement, not a campaign, a movement, empowering the people to move forward and change this government into one that works for us. And he's telling you how to do it, and he's putting it all right there in front of you and giving you a clear path to victory. Cindy says, I miss Jon Stewart. I miss Jon Stewart so much. Jon Stewart was such a great voice in the progressive movement and was able to bring attention to serious issues. Still does. Even though he's out of the public eye, he still does. He has an animal rescue farm, and he also just got done, after 18 years of fighting, just got the rescue workers their aid and assistance from the government for all of the ailments that they came down with working at Ground Zero after 9/11. It's been 18 years and we haven't took care of our firefighters and our cops. Well, now Jon Stewart has gotten them to do something about it. And that was Jon Stewart. and I wish he would come back because Trevor Noah, for one, I don't even think is funny, and I'm a comic. I'm not going to slam on the guy, but I don't really think he's that funny, and he seems out of touch. He seems programmed. He just says whatever he's told. He doesn't think for himself. He comes off to me like a blank slate. I see nothing deep in Trevor Noah, and I really don't understand why because they made it look like John chose him when they did the transaction or the transfer of the show to Trevor Noah. They made it look like John chose him. I watched a little mini doc on it, and it was all produced by Comedy Central, and it looked like they tracked him down and found him, and that he was going to be great, and that John had faith in him that he would carry on the show. Well, he's ruined that show. He has totally ruined that show. Lori said was on YouTube. I'm sorry, I have to go back and forth and check the comments, and I am not used to that yet. And I didn't know if anybody was over on YouTube or not. So I have to go back and forth. There's another service that I can get. And now I see your comment, Lori. There's another service that I can get to where I can pull my stream comments in too. And when I get that, that'll be cool. But that's more new computer. That's more coming up in the future. But I'll leave YouTube up on my screen and pull Facebook up on my phone. That way I can see all of your comments and keep up with them. But I'm glad to see you here, Lori. It's good to see you here. And Lori doesn't have any faith in politics, but I'm going to tell you why that's okay. All right? Because neither do I. Neither do I. I believe in the people. And the people are rising up by the millions, and that's what needs to happen. To have a successful revolution, you need 3% of the population. Only 3%. That's only about 11 million people. There's already 3 million people volunteering to get Bernie elected. This is what has to happen. There's a show that me and Lori and Steve all watch. I've seen us all there. And he preaches about how voting is consent, how participating in the process is consent. Well, I disagree because the process rules over us. Do I agree with the process? No. Is it rigged? Absolutely. Are there flaws in it? Hundreds. But it can be overwhelmed with our numbers. That's historically true. That's not just United States true. That's all the way through history. The way change happens, the way it's always happened, and the only way that it ever takes place is when millions of people stand up united and demand it. That's it. So that's what Bernie's telling you. And Bernie's telling you to hold everyone accountable. And I think and hope that he understands that that includes Bernie. That includes Bernie. I like Bernie. I'm a fan. Okay, I know that, Lori used to be, and there are a lot of people like her that are hurt by what happened in 2016 and are jaded and are never going to come back into the fold. At least not right now. These people are deeply, deeply hurt. And I understand that. I get that 100%. I feel your pain because I was there too. But what I try to get people to understand and what I push on this show is that we failed in 2016. Now, no one wants to hear that. Nobody likes that. They don't want to hear that it was us, but it was. And I'm going to tell you why. We have to overwhelm them with our numbers. Let's use Philadelphia for an example. Let's use the convention. Okay, some people know that Bernie won multiple votes at the convention before roll call, there was roll call votes, and he won the first one. But then it didn't matter. You see what I'm saying? They rigged it. It didn't matter. And I'm going to tell you why he couldn't have took that stand that everybody wanted him to take. There was no army of people outside. Now, don't get mad at me, because if you were there, I know you are a rock star. And I know a lot of people were there, but it was not a sea of people. Look up pictures of the contested convention in what year was that? In the 70s. And it is a sea of people. Now, that is what it needs to look like. If that was what was outside, I think Bernie would have found himself in a little bit different of a position. But would he have done something different? I don't know. That's not for me to say. He's a man of integrity, if nothing else. So he's predictable, if nothing else. And he did exactly what he said he was going to do. So, and we did what he told us to do, which was, if I ever tell you who to vote for, don't listen to me. So I don't fault Bernie. I don't think that there was anything he could do, and I think he lived to fight another day. And that's what we're being given right now, is a second chance at this. And I can't allow that to pass me by, because I believe in the people. And I understand that that is what is going to make change, is the people standing united. Dion, I forgot to share to the group. And the reason for that is I'm multi-streaming. I'm keeping up with 3 platforms right now. So I am, from now on, and I apologize for this to anyone I share to, I am not going to focus on sharing. And there's multiple reasons for that. I don't want to get shut down, is reason 1. If you don't know, Facebook has recently changed their community guidelines, and they're extremely restrictive, especially to content creators. Facebook now considers themselves a publisher, and they say that they can get rid of and suppress and do away with anything they don't like, and that's what they're doing. So what they want from me, I think, is boosts. They will ban my shares. They will put me in Facebook jail. They will restrict what I do, but then they'll ask me to boost my post for 20 bucks. It's like, okay, I can't share it. I can't do a watch party. I can't put it in a group, but I can boost it for 20 bucks. For 20 bucks, you'll get it out to 1,200 more people. Well, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. And for just a little while, I'm not saying it's going to be permanent. I'm not sharing right now. That was the long way of saying I'm not sharing right now. And only for about a week. I'm getting a new computer, and it's being built right now. Right now, though, I have 4 tabs open on my laptop, and it can barely handle that. And then I'm going back and forth to check comments on my phone. I just can't share during the show. I can share after, because I'm not in Facebook jail. But I worry about sharing during, and the third reason is they kick my feed sometimes when I share. And I don't want to disrupt the feed. So I'm going to keep the feed going, and then I figure I can share after. Like, I always film this, even though I know live is important to people and people like to interact during the live show. I always film it with watching later in mind. So that's why I put it up at 9 a.m. so that it's up all day and people can enjoy it all day. And, no matter how you're feeling, there's a fresh Daily Bern up on the page. Now, that brings us to the 4th thing that has to do with the sharing stuff. You might notice I'm from my timeline today. We're not coming from a page. And I don't know if you notice this. If you watch every day, we have more people here. And I didn't share it at all. It is easier to suppress Facebook pages. I was told that, and I really didn't believe it, because I was like, why? Why would it be easier? But why would they do that? But look, we're on our timeline, my regular timeline, and there are 6 people here on Facebook. For weeks, it's been 1, 0, nobody. For months, we were building a huge audience. We had this up to where it was getting 300, 400 views a day. So I apologize to Dion and any other group that I used to share this burn to. I used to share this burn to 30 groups every day. There are a lot of people that are upset. But it is not me, guys. It's Facebook. All right? It's YouTube. It's suppression. It's corporate censorship. These are the things we can't stand for. These are the things we have to fight. And what I can do is put out content. I can put out content and give you guys shows and entertainment. But I am stressing myself out to the limits with this sharing. I really am. And it was breaking my heart, and it was tearing me up inside. And I decided the best thing for me to do is to just focus on making a good show. And that if it's good, it'll get shared. It'll grow on its own. I shouldn't push it so hard. I need to let it go. I need to just give it up to God and let whatever happens happen. So that's why I'm not sharing. So I apologize. But Steve says G is fun to watch, but I don't agree with him on everything. Jimmy Dore is the only one I'm 100 with. Jimmy, I'm about 90 with. G, I'm like, I would say 75. I like G too. We're talking about Gerard Kennett Hay. I never say his name right, but I hope I got it right. I never know if it's Gerard Kennett K or Gerard Kennett Hay. I think it's the second one. But Dion says, whatever I can do to help. Oh, absolutely. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. And there is also another thank you that I need to give out is a special thank you to the group PIN, PIN. Please join that page. Search it out. It's I forget what it stands for, but they have recently took me in, and they are a group, and they are helping me tremendously. Not just by sharing, but also emotionally talking and stuff like that. I was part of a page before, and we had a group chat, but it was nothing like this. This is very good. This is very good for me, and they're very encouraging to creators. So thank you to the PIN group for helping me with the shows and helping me share and stuff like that. And I really enjoy being part of your group. So thanks for inviting me in. But Roy says we are Bernie's media. We are absolutely Bernie's media, and we have to get stuff like this out. It's our job. So I'll make it. You guys share it. You get it out there and put it in front of people. Because this show, we do this every day, and the reason for that is motivation is like bathing. You know, it doesn't last, so you need to do it every day. So we give you a fresh burn every day to build you up, because that's the most important thing for us in this fight. This fight is weird. We talked about that a second ago, but the strategies for it are even weird. All we have to do is stay strong. That's it. We stay strong, stay in our demands, keep our voices heard, and stay vigilant. That's it. Don't allow them to break you. Don't allow them to distract you. Don't allow them to divide you. Because like I said, all war is deception. And the mainstream media is a propaganda and deception organization. That is all they do and all they're for. That's their entire purpose. And we can do a little Know Your Enemy here in a minute. I got Fox pulled up today for Know Your Enemy. But we'll get into it, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. The media is a weapon. It is a weapon used to divide and conquer. They've been using divide and conquer all throughout history. You know, this faith that I have in this political revolution doesn't come from political faith. It doesn't come from, oh wow, guys, politics is great. I don't feel that way. I never really cared about voting much until I saw Bernie Sanders speak for the first time. And I had seen Bernie here and there, along the way. He's a very vocal senator, been vocal for a long time against the wars, against all the atrocities that have been carried out for the past 30 years. If you think of something bad, you can probably find a video of Bernie Sanders fighting against it. So I had seen him, I had run across him in the Truth Movement. I had seen him, some of you know I host a conspiracy theories and chill show. I had seen him during that, but I'd never heard him give a political speech. And the first time I heard Bernie give a political speech, I was talking to the TV. I was like a Southern black lady at church. I'm amening the TV. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. It was phenomenal what I was seeing. Unbelievable. But that's what I believe in, is his message. And right now, and I'll show you, let me bring up Fox real quick. I'm going to do Know Your Enemy. Know Your Enemy is a segment on the show where we pull up a mainstream media site and I show you the garbage that we deal with every day from the mainstream media. The mainstream media is nothing but a weapon. And what they use it for is to misinform the people. Like this. Very first scroll on Fox, Bernie Sanders released from hospital. How dare you take me back up to the top. Bernie Sanders released from hospital. Doctors say he suffered a heart attack. I haven't read this and I'm no doctor. I'm not going to go into any medical analysis of what happened to Bernie Sanders, but Bernie Sanders is doing fantastic. He is already back on the campaign trail. He had 2 stents inserted. He was having chest pains at a campaign event, and I can pull up the Bern Notice. The Bern Notice is the official campaign newsletter of the Bernie Sanders site, and I could show you the truth of what's going on with Bernie and how he's doing great. But Bernie's already released, Bernie's already back to work, but they're going to push this because they're going to try to push his age. So they're going to push the heart attack. And like I said, I don't know if it was. I know it was an outpatient surgery and he's fine now. I know that, like Mick Jagger, for example, has had stents. And Mick Jagger still runs around and dances and prances on that stage like he's a 20-year-old kid. So I have faith in Bernie's health. This article, Fox, see, we're on Fox today. Usually Most mainstream media is left-leaning, but Fox, they at least tell the truth about Biden. Now, they don't tell the truth about Bernie or anything else, but they do slam the shit out of Biden. So if you like watching Biden get beat up, especially over this Ukraine thing, Fox is the place for you right now. But it's got Biden snapping at a reporter over Ukraine question, Biden's devastating fundraiser haul. Biden's imploding, Biden's done, and now they're going to move to Elizabeth Warren. It would have been Kamala Harris, but Tulsi kneecapped Kamala, so Kamala Harris is done. But that's who it would have been, it would have been Kamala. But now it's Elizabeth Warren. I can't believe there's only one Elizabeth Warren story on Fox, but I bet you it's not even negative. So this is about top Warren campaign official fired for inappropriate behavior. So trying to spin it, a top campaign official has been fired over complaints of inappropriate behavior. Over the past 2 weeks, senior campaign leadership received multiple complaints regarding inappropriate behavior by Rich McDaniel. So he got Me Too'd, it looks like. But that's just a way to put her in the news. And they won't focus on her negatively either. They will, look, 24.6 million topping Joe Biden. Did she top Bernie Sanders? You know, they don't want to talk about that. Where's the huge Elizabeth Warren events? I want to go to one. I want to see an Elizabeth Warren crowd. Where's this invisible support for Elizabeth Warren? I believe that Elizabeth Warren has 1/64th of the support that they say she has. That's what I believe. I believe that Elizabeth Warren is 1/64th your Democratic frontrunner. Hold on, Steve said something. Pocahontas is the last barrier. And Lori says stints are very common and very effective. Lori is a nurse. Lori knows what she's talking about. So Lori knows a lot more about it than me. But what do you guys think? Real quick, what do you think about this impeachment? I'm going to tell you, I think that they won't get it done.
To say that President
Hold
Trump
on, let me turn that
ramped
off.
up his...
I think they won't get it done is what I think. I think it's a distraction. But, I mean, I don't care if they impeach him. It wouldn't be a bad thing. President Trump is an embarrassment. He's a national embarrassment. But President Mike Pence wouldn't be much better, you know? I'm not looking forward to a Mike Pence presidency. And we're about to beat him. You know, I don't even think Trump will run if he's up against Bernie in 2020. I really don't. I don't think he would even want to run. I don't think he wants any part of Bernie Sanders. I think Trump is afraid of Bernie Sanders. I think there's plenty of evidence for that. That's just not me talking. There's a lot of evidence that Trump is afraid of Bernie. Bernie is the only person that Trump won't go after. Look at his Twitter. Trump will fight with anybody on Twitter. Friggin' anybody. Rosie O'Donnell. Anybody. He'll bicker back and forth with anybody, but you don't ever really see him attacking Bernie Sanders. He might call him Crazy Bernie from time to time, but that's about as extreme as Trump gets with Bernie. You know why? It's not really because it's the same reason why the media and the establishment are afraid of Bernie. They're not afraid of Bernie. Trump's not afraid of Bernie. He's afraid of us. He doesn't want any part of us. And they don't want any part of us. They're afraid of us too. Them stifling and lying and trying to shut Bernie down isn't about shutting Bernie down at all. It's about shutting us down. Did Facebook crash? I'm still up on my phone. Let me know, guys, because on my computer, it looks like Facebook went down, but YouTube is still up. So I'm going to keep talking, but it says 9 people are here, but it says Facebook went down. So Lori says they wouldn't suppress him so hard if they weren't threatened. They are terrified of us. They're not terrified of a 78-year-old man. Bernie Sanders doesn't scare them. Bernie Sanders empowering the people scares them. The powers that be, the last thing they want, and this is why G's message frustrates me, the last thing that they want is an informed and active public. An informed and active public undoes their whole rigged system. Their rigged system can be overwhelmed with our numbers. And that's just a fact. It can. And it's going to be. We are going to win. We are doing what needs to happen right now to move this revolution forward. Millions of people are volunteering. Over 3 million have currently signed up and are actively volunteering, canvassing, phone banking, tabling, anything they can do to get Bernie elected and move this revolution forward, because this revolution, and that's what I believe in, the revolution doesn't end with Bernie, and it isn't even about Bernie. Bernie is just the candidate. You know, I get talked to all the time like I have some kind of hero worship for Bernie. Bernie is a man, no different than me. He's flawed, he has problems, he has a real life and real issues that he deals with, and I don't always agree with him. I'm realistic about this. I believe in us, and I believe that we can do this, and we can change our government from the ground up. What electing Bernie would do would be a nuclear strike to the powers that be. Electing Bernie Sanders would be so inspirational and motivational for a lot of young people coming up in the United States, and a lot of people that are jaded, from voting and feel like there's nothing that they can do, that the system is so rigged that we can't do anything about it. And it's rigged in many ways. So you're not wrong to think that. You know, Lori's not wrong to be mad at politics, to give up on politics, to have lost faith in it. It has been corrupted to its core. I can't defend it. I wouldn't. It needs to be torn down and rebuilt. I'm not defending the system, and real quick, I know there's probably none here. No one's going to sit through 32 minutes of a Bernie show if they're blue no matter who. But if you're blue no matter who, sit the primary out. Sit the primary out. This is the primary. You don't care who the candidate is, so sit down. Let the adults talk, and we'll pick the best candidate, and we'll move forward and win. And you can join up with us after the primary and move forward, vote for Bernie Sanders, and beat Donald Trump, or whoever's standing on the other side of that stage, because I'm not so sure it's going to be Donald Trump. And we're not even running against Donald Trump yet, so stop being afraid of Donald Trump. You're in the primary. Don't vote out of fear. Please don't vote out of fear. You know, that's what they want you to do. Settle for Elizabeth Warren because you might get Trump. How about you go for what you want? How about we take what we're coming to get? We're not coming to ask. We're not looking for middle ground. We're not looking to negotiate. You know, G talks about things like, let's vote for this politician so we can keep our censored internet. No, we need to get rid of those guys. They're never going to leave on their own. They're never going to go, hey guys, I got enough money now. I'm going to go ahead and pack it up. How long's Mitch McConnell been a senator? How rich is he? He ain't never going nowhere. He ain't never giving up that paycheck, not till the day he dies. And his whole job is obstruction. That's all he does. And he's proud of it. He brags about it. He's famous for it. He just collects money and blocks things. Dion says we're still up and running on Facebook. Okay, good. I closed the window on my computer because I got to keep the windows open. So that's good to know. It's good to know that I can close the window. Steve says this revolution will continue with or without Bernie. That's absolutely right. My son was asking me yesterday. He was like, because he didn't know who Tulsi was. Because I was talking about Tulsi on the Daily Bern yesterday. And he was asking me, who's Tulsi? So I was explaining Tulsi to him. And it went a little further than that. I'll share this with you guys real quick, but this is just my theory. It's just a theory, but I believe that Bernie and Tulsi have been working together the entire time. And I believe there's evidence everywhere for that. And I can go through that if you're interested. If you're interested in the theory and you want to hear more, I can go through that for you if you want. But I think Tulsi is there to be the attack dog. That's exactly what she's doing. And I think you're going to see that again on October 15th. For the first time, you're going to see Bernie and Tulsi on the same stage. Bernie won't go after people. It's not in his nature. It's not the way he does things. It's not what he does. He won't do it. Tulsi will. Tulsi will. Look how she kneecapped Kamala. Kamala's done now. And Warren's next. And Tulsi's going to come out swinging at Warren because Bernie won't do it. And he doesn't want, and he shouldn't. They have two separate roles. I don't believe Tulsi Gabbard is running to be president of the United States. I think she's running to be vice president. I believe that when Tulsi drops out, Bernie will immediately absorb her into his campaign and they will co-run. That he will announce her as his VP and they will co-run for president. Just a theory. Now, what is that based on? It's based on the connections between their social media accounts. It's based on some of the connections between their campaigns. And it's just based on what's happened up until now. And then he even asked me, well, does she agree? Because he's like, well, I told him about Tulsi, and he's like, well, she sounds cool. He's like, does she agree with Bernie on everything? I'm like, no, there's a few things she doesn't, but does she? You never know. You never know. And that would be a good insurance policy, because I believe Bernie, whenever they feel like he's going to win, whenever they feel like, okay, that the media manipulation, lying, and all of that's not working, these people are going to pull this off. I believe his life will be in danger. But if you've got Tulsi in a co-campaign, what are you going to do? You'd have to kill them both. And I don't want to talk like that. I'm a conspiracy theorist, but I'm not going to go down that road. I'm just saying Tulsi is insurance. And I think they're working together. I think they have been the whole time. And that's just my opinion. Tulsi, in reality, if we're being realistic here, Tulsi doesn't have the name recognition or the momentum to be president. And I know that she is a very intelligent woman. So she knows that too. Your winner on that stage is Bernie Sanders. If Tulsi was going to vote for somebody on that stage, it would be Bernie Sanders. So I think there's a lot behind this theory. But it's just a theory. But I think Tulsi is an ally, and I think you're going to see that on the 15th because I believe she's the attack dog. And that's just what I think. Steve says, I agree about Tulsi. There is a plan. There is. I'm telling you, there is. They're working together. This is a well-orchestrated plan. This has been in the motion since 2016, I think. I really believe that. I really believe that when he had his backstabbing meeting with Obama, that Bernie changed his strategy and realized that this was going to have to be more of a long game, that we were going to have to back up and he was going to have to take the Democratic outreach chair, build his name even more, get out and inform the American person even more. All these Trump voters, think about what he's been doing for 2 years, going all over the country informing people how they got swindled. Because they did. These aren't bad people. Most of the people that voted for Donald Trump aren't bad people. They wanted change. They felt like he was anti-establishment because the media seemed to be against him. Well, the media is theatrics, and he was your boogeyman. WikiLeaks proved all of this. Hillary had them build Trump up because she thought she could beat him. She called him a Pied Piper candidate, and she had the media build him up. They would film his empty podium for 45 minutes instead of filming Bernie rallies. They would wait for Trump. He got, I don't remember the percentage, but it's ridiculous. Something like 80% more coverage than any other candidate. That's not just Republican candidates. It's any other candidate. And you could say, well, it's because Trump was the most interesting or Trump was the most famous. Ben Carson was always half asleep. Ted Cruz had a much bigger name than Donald Trump. And as far as being taken seriously politically, think about it. Think about our side. Think about right now. You got Bernie, a lifelong politician, being told he's not as experienced as Joe Biden. But nobody was giving Trump that problem. The media wasn't saying, look, we've got Ted Cruz. Why do we need a businessman with no political experience to be our president? No, they threw their full support behind him. Whether that was painting him as a boogeyman or just outright throwing their support behind him, if you're Fox Media. But no matter how you did it, no matter what they did, there's no such thing as bad publicity. So all of that publicity for Trump helped him. Lori says Jimmy Dore is a Tulsi supporter. I didn't know that. I haven't watched Jimmy in a little while. I like him. Is Ron Placone still on the Jimmy Dore show? Because I noticed Ron Placone now streams his own show. But I don't know if he's still on Jimmy Dore. And Christopher says Bernie went after Alan Greenspan. Bernie goes after a lot of people. Bernie has an anti-endorsement list. Check that out on his website. Hey, Kathy. Good to see you. Check that out on his website. He has a list of billionaires and wealthy people that he does not want endorsements from, does not want their support, you know. And all of your regular big names are on that list. They're all there. So, but Bernie is only taking money from the people. Bernie's running a movement, and that's what I believe in. I love Bernie. Bernie's great. Fantastic candidate. I agree with him about 80%, 85% of the time. But I don't agree with him all the time, and that's unrealistic. I just know that what he's putting together is the best way forward. This is how we're going to win. This is what it's going to take. And I know that we're doing it. So it's happening right now. And that's why I did this show. I had to do something more. I had to do all I can. Because at the end of this fight, I want to know that I left no cards on the table. That there wasn't anything that I could have done that I didn't do. That's how I want to feel when this is over. Win or lose. But I'm not thinking like a loser. I'm thinking like a winner because we are going to win. We are winning right now. So all we need to do is stay vigilant. All we need to do is keep fighting. All we need to do really is to keep doing what we're doing. Kathy says, get your news on with Ron on YouTube. No, I knew he was doing his own show, but I wasn't sure if he was still on Jimmy Dore. I actually share the Ron Placone show, the Facebook version, almost anytime I see it. I like watching him. I like how he talks with his cat, and I like Ron. So, and I think Ron's more pro Bernie, but I didn't know that Jimmy was Tulsi. That kind of makes sense to me because Jimmy's still jaded over Bernie, isn't he? Jaded over 2016 and Bernie's reactions and what Bernie did. There's a lot of people that still judge him. Lori says, I love the Door live streams on YouTube. 11,000 were watching last time. Wow. He's gotten very big. He's grown quite a name for himself. I like Jimmy. I like his stand-up too. He's a good guy. I just don't agree with him all the time, and a lot of the Bernie hating turned me off. I just don't agree with hating on Bernie. I'm okay with you disagreeing with him, but I don't understand hating on him, and especially people that try to act like, well, he's not doing nothing. He's doing quite a bit. I mean, even if you don't agree with what he's doing quite a bit. He's out there working all the time. He's traveling the country. He's talking to people. He's informing people. He's doing much more than nothing. He's an ally to the people, no matter how you feel politically. Even if you vote for Donald Trump, you gotta respect. I have a Trump supporter friend. He shares the Daily Bern, not because he likes Bernie Sanders, but because he respects it. He respects the movement. He respects my passion for it, and he respects what we're doing. Not Bernie. He respects us. And that's who I respect. That's who I have faith in, is us. We're the ones that are going to do this. We're the ones that are going to win. We're the ones that are going to do all we can. And that's what I always ask people to do. Steve says Jimmy loves Bernie but calls him out. I would call Bernie out too. If I could rattle something off the top of my head right now that I don't agree with Bernie on, I would go ahead and say it. And I would call him out if he does something wrong. I don't mind holding him accountable, but Jimmy would go a little overboard with it. I think you know what I'm talking about. And he's got to fill more time than me. So I understand it. As someone that talks and trying to talk for a living, I understand it. Filling time does get hard, and you want those clicks and you want a little bit of excitement, but sometimes he would lay on the Bernie hate a little heavy. Kathy says Jimmy Dore likes Tulsi, but he's for Bernie. His wife is Tulsi. His wife's for Tulsi. Right on. Steve says Ron is still with Jimmy. He is the funniest with Jimmy. Graham Elwood is in Russia doing good stuff. I never heard of Graham Elwood. Is he also from Jimmy Dore or from TYT roots, or is he from something else? But this has been the Daily Bern, guys, and we do this every day. This is Monday through Saturday, so we won't have a show tomorrow, but I will be back on Sunday for the Yankee show if you want to hang out. And that's just a fun show where we hang out and talk about stuff. That one's not political. I take Sundays off. But Monday morning, we will be right back here with a brand new episode of the Daily Bern, and I think we're going to come from the timeline now. So I think we'll be coming from my main timeline. And I think that seemed to work a little better, And with these new Facebook guidelines, the sharing and stuff, I'm going to have to cut way back on how much I share in order to be able to keep live streaming for you guys. But thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys tomorrow on the next episode of the Daily Bern. Keep rocking out there, keep fighting, keep doing all you can. and we're going to win. So I'll see you tomorrow, or Monday, actually. Not tomorrow, Monday. I will see you tomorrow, but it'll be on Yankee Show. Thanks for watching, guys. See you tomorrow on Yankee Show. Monday on the Daily Bern.